So what we're doing now is we're just knocking the chaff off of this, letting it cool. I don't always recommend a metal colander because the beans are still roasting at this stage. You can see all the smoke flying off of it still. The metal colander allows it to keep roasting. You see a little bit less smoke at this phase. What I'm going to do is transfer it to the bigger colander and knock some of the chaff off. Don't want to wet the beans, for sure. Sometimes when I am knocking the chaff off, I feel like a true coffee soul from the heart of Africa. You can see the beans there. I want to bring a cup into it now, and I'll show you the green beans versus these fresh roasted beans. Okay, so here's a cup of what they were before, and as you can see, a drastic change within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, about 9 minutes, 3 seconds, and we're going to bag it shortly. Also, what you want to do during this process of knocking the chaff off and cooling it a little bit is look for ones that kind of don't resemble or represent the roast that you're going for. You can sometimes clearly tell beans that probably shouldn't have made it in an import at all. So you just kind of can, if you eye them and take them out, here's another one that's clearly different than what we're going for. This is lighter and it's kind of broken up and beat up. So we're going to take that one out. See if we can find a few others. This is one of my favorite parts of the process. Scrumming through the beans and just looking at how beautiful they are. Here's another one that's kind of cracked. And not to say that you won't have some cracked beans, but clearly this is one that that shouldn't have made the cut. And they do slip through. Everything's not perfect, and that's fine. That's part of learning about the coffee bean itself. Here's another one. Now here's one that's a little bit different. It's got a smooth surface. It's not necessarily as dark as what we're going for. And I say dark, but it's not the roast that we're going for. But as you can see, you don't want to get too overzealous or overexcited about picking the lighter ones out, or the ones that don't necessarily match your roast characteristics, because it adds a little bit of character to the flavor of the coffee. So we're just going to keep that one, even though it's a little lighter. There's nothing wrong with the integrity of the bean itself. And that one we didn't have too many of them, which is good. That's what I like to see. I'm sure that's what a lot of coffee roasters like to see. So we've been out of the roaster and into the colanders for a few minutes now, and what I've done is I've just stuck this thermometer into the coffee beans to give you an idea of how hot the beans still are. It's almost 200 degrees. It's approaching 160 right now, and we're going to go ahead and bag them. I don't like to leave them in the air for too long, because that just means exposure to air, and the gases it gives off will not be properly, it'll be released, but it will not be properly released. That's why we have this little degassing valve here on the bag. You can see that. It allows the gases that the coffee beans emit to properly get out without kind of, not destroying itself, but kind of bleeding on itself and not allowing it to be fresh roasted coffee or have the taste of fresh roasted coffee as long as it should. So we're just going to go ahead, and if I can find my measuring cup, you should just go ahead and scoop it out. There you go, fresh roasted beans, ladies and gentlemen. And go ahead and put it in my baggie. There we go. We're bagging. Now, I will tell you that the smell of roasting coffee is drastically different than the smell of fresh brewed coffee. But it's a smell that you get accustomed to and that you definitely learn to love. You can see some chaff is still on this colander, but I know that my kitchen is going to smell like roasted coffee beans for a few days now. And so there we have it, the final bagged product. And what I like to do when it's my home coffee samples is I'll go ahead and label it with the name of the coffee, the date, the time it completed, and some characteristics that I can identify this coffee as. And like I said, we took this one to just before Full City, which is right about second crack, a little bit before second crack. And this is going to be honey-like aroma coupled with some dark raspberries, fruit, and even a little bit of chocolate in there. A lot of the terminology that I use in here, yes, it might be defined by coffee aficionado terminology, but I'll go ahead and give you some definitions on the website, and thank you for tuning in.